And then, so once you talked to your mother and grandmother and realized you had this, like, what next? Like, when did you decide to start, like, doing this as a business? Like, how did that all come about? And that you started doing readings?
I really can't describe it because it found me. Like, people don't realize that I was in a great job. I was working privately contracted for the World Trade Center in Boston. For the security operations department. I worked for the security department, and I was an EMT as well. I was the highest paid in the department. I was doing great. I was up for promotion. I was like, loved my job. I still talk to everybody from my job from 10 years ago, as crazy as it is. And, I had the world by the balls back then, so I never wanted to be a medium or do this. But at the same time, when I went home and I started to look deeper into my abilities, I started hearing and seeing things and connecting. And it was crazy because I started doing it for fun. I did it as a hobby for my friends and family members. And at that point in my life, I was working the overnight shift at the World Trade Center. So it was only us and a small skeleton crew. There was nothing really to do there because what are you going to do at 3 a.m? There's no medicals going on. No one's getting into fights. There's nothing happening. So we would have nothing to do. We would literally watch Netflix and that's it. So late at night, my friends would come to me and coworkers, and they'd be like, "Hey Matt, I'm having issues with my so and so. Can you help me, with your ability and tune in?" So I would do mini readings at work, and then I would go and visit my friends because they were all in college at their dorm rooms, and I would go and give them little readings, and they were just short little readings about like, "Hey Matt, am I gonna date so and so? Is this one being truthful to me? Matt, do you see who I'm gonna date in the future?" So I started to read for them, and then word literally spread like wildfire, where next thing you know, my friends' parents wanted readings. And then my coworkers at work were like, "Hey, Matt, if I get a group of girls together, will you come to the house and do a house party?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, okay." So the next thing you know, I'm doing that. And then people are like, "Hey, I want you for a house party. I know somebody who could benefit from you." So I started doing these little house parties, and then next thing a friend of mine who owns a hair salon, was like, "Hey Matt, why don't you come like on your off days and like do some readings in the back of the salon?" She's like, "I have clients that want to meet with you." So I'm like, "Okay," and I'm doing that. And then next thing you know, I'm getting calls that, "Hey, we heard about you. We want you on our radio show. Hey, we want you on the morning news." And then this thing just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then next thing you know, it gets to the point where people were recognizing me at work. People started to, understand who I was. And I had to make the decision, I can't have it both ways. I have to either stay in my job as an EMT, or I have to go and find out where this is leading me. So it was really tough because I was supposed to be I wanted to be a physician's assistant or a paramedic. So I was going down that road, well, starting to. And then I'm like, you know what? I think this is a bigger calling. So I went to start doing this mediumship work. And then all of a sudden, here I am today.